This isn't some tabloid headline or cheap gossip. This is Buckingham Palace itself making the coldest, most ruthless move in modern royal history. With a single stroke of the pen, Archie and Lilibet were erased from royal identity. Stripped clean, wiped away. And don't get it twisted, it wasn't because of a feud or one interview Meghan gave. No. This was the monarchy unleashing its deadliest weapon, protocol. A force that doesn't bend, doesn't forgive, and certainly doesn't forget. What makes it even more shocking is the silence. The palace waited in the shadows for years, letting scandal after scandal swirl before striking with absolute precision. Questions swirled about Archie's birth certificate, and whispers spread about Lilibet's quiet California baptism. Yet the palace stayed silent. No statements, no rebuttals. Then suddenly, the crown made its move. Not through speeches, not through interviews, but with something unshakable: legal documents and constitutional orders. Those papers left no room for doubt. Meghan and Harry's children were permanently erased from the royal line. No heirs, no titles, no royal future. And don't mistake this for anger or spite. This was cold, calculated precision, rooted in choices made more than a century ago. To understand, we need to go back to 1917. Europe was in flames, empires collapsing, thrones falling one after another. The British monarchy was barely holding on, fighting for survival. King George V crafted a radical safeguard: the letters patent. The name might sound dull, but its impact was brutal. For the first time, royal privilege was locked behind strict barriers. Only certain descendants could be called prince or princess. Everyone else was cut off. The rules were icy clear. Rule 1. The child must be of legitimate royal blood. Rule 2. The crown itself had to formally acknowledge the birth. Rule 3. The child must be christened into the Church of England. These weren't flexible traditions. They were hard lines drawn to protect the monarchy from the chaos consuming Europe. And in 2025, those same rules, born from survival, became the very weapon used against Meghan and Harry's children. No wiggle room, no exceptions. For more than a century, the rules held firm like steel bars. And now, in 2025, those same rules came crashing down on Archie and Lilibet. Let's talk receipts, because the crown never forgets. First, Archie's birth certificate in 2019. At first glance, it looked fine, until it didn't. Out of nowhere, Meghan's name, originally written as Rachel Meghan Markle, was erased and replaced with a cold, formal title: Her Royal Highness, the Duchess of Sussex. Meghan swore the palace forced her. Palace aides denied it. Neither side backed down, and the damage was done. That one document, the first legal proof of Archie's existence, turned into a tug-of-war, a crack in the record. And the crown never lets cracks slide. Then came receipt number 2, Lilibet's arrival in 2021. There was no royal proclamation, no doctor's signature, no ceremonial announcement. Nothing. Instead, Meghan and Harry issued a shiny California press release. Cute for Hollywood, maybe. But for the monarchy, it was as if Lilibet didn't even exist in the royal books. And here's receipt number 3, the baptism that wasn't. Meghan smiled in California photos, proudly announcing that Lilibet had been baptized. But the Church of England? They never recognized it. Not a chance. And you know what that means in royal law. No christening, no place in line. Period. Meghan thought this would be a healing moment, a sweet gesture for her daughter. In reality, that decision slammed the door shut on her daughter's royal future, and it didn't stop there. Enter receipt number 4, Harry's desperate pleas. Behind palace walls, sources insist Harry was begging. Late-night calls, emotional arguments, frantic attempts to reason with aides. His plea was simple: stepping away from duties doesn't erase royal blood. His children were still Windsors, still part of the dynasty. But what answer did he get? The coldest, most brutal response imaginable. This isn't about emotion. This is about order, lineage, and the future of the crown. Translation: decisions already made. No debate. Case closed. Meanwhile, the media tried spinning a different picture. Glossy spreads, carefully staged photos, glowing headlines calling Lilibet a princess. But let's be real, the receipts told another story. Legal orders, altered certificates, erased titles. And social media? They weren't buying the fairy tale. Twitter was ruthless, roasting Meghan for celebrating a baptism that wasn't even official. TikTok compared Archie's certificate edits to Hollywood rewrites. Memes crowned Lilibet the California princess with no crown. Savage. But the real question is timing. Why now? Why break years of silence? Because the crown always plays the long game. Harry and Meghan branded themselves as royal rebels, Netflix deals, tell-alls, endless drama. But here's the twist. Rebellion only matters if the crown still claims you. And in 2025, the crown shut that door forever. Once you're erased, you're not rebels anymore. You're irrelevant. That's the monarchy's greatest weapon, silence. They don't need to drag Meghan through the press. They don't need to clap back at Harry's memoirs. They simply wait, patient, cold, and when the moment is right, they strike. A single stroke of the pen, and history is rewritten forever. Here's the monarchy's coldest truth. Order before affection. Lineage before love. That's the unspoken code. For Meghan, this cuts on a brand level. Her image as a royal mother collapses if her children aren't heirs. For Harry, it's personal. His children, his flesh and blood, carved out of the dynasty he was born into, but the palace doesn't flinch. Feelings mean nothing. To them, it's a checklist. Archie and Lilibet failed every test King George V set down in 1917. No legitimate, untangled royal record. No crown-approved recognition at birth. No valid Church of England christening sealed and certified. Case closed. So the whispers grow louder. Was the crown simply protecting itself, drawing a hard line to guard the institution? Or was this the final punishment, the ultimate price Meghan and Harry had to pay for daring to challenge the firm? One thing is certain. Buckingham Palace didn't just make a move. It rewrote the royal story forever.